Excuse me. We will be starting in a few minutes, so please grab your seats and text everybody to grab their seats. Excuse me. Excuse me. Could I get some quiet, please? We are about to begin. If you are struggling to find seating, there is seating upstairs. That is a very good view. You guys want to come up?
We're gonna wait a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're taller.
No, I am. Okay, everybody, welcome to 2025 New Commencement. I would like to, my name is Beau Delon. I am a history AOC and a secondary field of museum studies, I apologize. And we are some of your student organizers which made this event possible.
I'm Isabel, or Izzy Reyes. I'm a psychology and gender studies double AOC.
And I'm Nisreen. I studied international studies with a focus on the Middle East.
We are going to hand the podium first to Nisreen for some opening remarks, and I thank you all for attending.
Thank you. Bismillah. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the third annual alternative graduation. I'm so grateful to be here with all of you tonight. First, congratulations to my fellow graduates. We made it. This moment is a celebration of everything we've become and overcome during our time at New College. This space exists because we need a graduation that fully honors us, a place where students can show up as themselves and celebrate all that they are with dignity. And I want to thank everyone here tonight for coming, and specifically my siblings and my friends for being here. I wish I could stand here and deliver a glowing, inspirational speech that wraps up everything neatly with a bow. But writing this was really hard, harder than I expected, because honestly, this moment is complicated. Over the past few weeks, I've been filled with questions. Did I do enough at New College? Am I satisfied with my time here? And where am I going next? And the honest answer, some of those questions don't have answers right now. I came to New College hoping to build something, to be part of something, and what I got was a front row seat to the dismantling of a place that I believed in. And that's disappointing and infuriating. But I don't need to explain that to you all, the students sitting here. You already know, you've lived it. If you're here today, it means you made it through something that really tried to erase you, to make you very small. You stayed and you created, you fought for your education and for each other, and that is no small thing. But for our family and friends and the press here tonight, let me be clear. This graduating class has endured more than most. Over the past 2 years, we have watched the heart of our college, its faculty, its values, its programs systematically attacked. We have seen professors pushed out, beloved peers forced to leave, entire departments erased, and community traditions upended. Some of us have been harassed for who we are or what we believe in. Many have faced impossible choices to stay or to leave. New College became a battleground, and not by our choosing, but by design. And we still stayed, not because it was easy, but because we refused to surrender something we loved. I've often heard the phrase, existence is resistance. But I don't think I fully understood it until this year as I was writing my thesis on the LGBTQ movement in Morocco. Come on, you didn't think I wouldn't mention my thesis. Of course I have to brag about it. What I found out was the most radical act of queer Moroccans isn't politics or protest, it's community. It's showing up for each other, caring, surviving in a world that tells you not to. You refuse to disappear. You refuse to give up. You refuse to let someone else define what this place could be for you. And that is what we celebrate tonight. This isn't just a graduation, it's a collective act of defiance. And it's recognition of every paper you wrote while grieving, every protest you showed up to while you were exhausted, and every moment you chose to stay. This is a moment to see each other fully as survivors, as scholars, and as artists, as caretakers, and as change makers. But we cannot stop there. Because while we gather here, students elsewhere are not so lucky. I would be remiss not to talk about what is happening in our country and around the world. In recent weeks, over 1,700 student visas have been revoked by the Trump administration, many belonging to Palestinian organizers who dared to speak out. And let's be honest, this is not new. It's part of a global pattern of silencing those who resist. At our own college, students from last year's graduating class faced repercussions for speaking out, for calling for Palestinian liberation and an end to genocide. Some diplomas were temporarily withheld, not for any misconduct, but for expressing their beliefs. We remember that tonight, as we hear of students across the country like Mahmoud Khalil, Mohsen Mahdawi, and Rumaysa Oturk, targeted and punished for their courage to speak. I would not feel right standing here without speaking that truth. In Gaza, there are no universities left. None. Israel has destroyed every single one. Thousands of students, just like us, have had their lives destroyed. Their campuses, their libraries, their classrooms, their futures are wiped out. I say this because it matters who we grieve and who we fight for. This is not a conflict. This is not collateral damage. It's a deliberate destruction of a people and their right to live. It's a genocide. So as we celebrate ourselves tonight, we must also hold space for them. We must carry them with us. We must say their names. We must remember that their struggle is our struggle too, because liberation is not a zero-sum game. Their freedom is tied to ours, and we must not look away. Because when we say existence is resistance, we don't just mean hanging on by a thread. We mean imagining and building a world where everyone has the right to learn and to live, to love, and to be free. So to the class of 2025, you are proof that even under difficult times, brilliance still grows, that community holds, and that joy breaks through. You showed up for each other again and again, and you didn't just survive, you made it through something meaningful. You made something meaningful out of this mess. I'm so proud to be one of you. Congratulations, truly. We see you, we celebrate you, and we carry this fight forward. Once a Novo, always a Novo. And now, I have the honor of introducing a Novo who knows a thing or two about carrying things forward. Olivia Mickelson has been a force on this campus, leading with heart, with humor, and with a truly terrifying Google Calendar. She's the outgoing student body president, a member of the board of trustees, yes, that board, and someone who's never stopped fighting for students, even when the odds felt impossible. We work together at the Novo Collegian Alliance, our student government, and I can say without a doubt that no one handled classes, a thesis, and an endless stream of back-to-back meetings quite like she did. She's been a leader, an advocate, a steady hand, and a voice for students, often all at once. Please join me in welcoming my friend Olivia Mickelson.
We did it. Congratulations, class of 2025. Your strong work ethic, dedication, and resilience have paid off, and now we are beginning to see the rewards of all our hard work. After thesising and completing all of this coursework, I found writing this speech really difficult because I didn't know how to put my new college experience into 10 minutes. So I'm giving some words of thanks and some hope for as we move into the next chapter of our lives. I wanted to begin by thanking our communities for their support throughout our education. An enormous thank you to the faculty for making our dreams a reality, helping us navigate study abroad, conduct research, plan our futures, graduate early, build portfolios for graduate school when we felt like everything around us was changing so quickly. So I want to extend the greatest thanks to the faculty. Thank you for all of your hard work while teaching and advising. Thank you to our families for their support and guidance throughout the past few years. To our peers and friends for creating joy, even in times where it seemed like there was so little. To the local Sarasota community for their involvement on campus and their support in our lives, and to everyone in the audience for showing up on this big day. I just wanted to send a huge thank you to you all for being here. And I know it's a really sad time right now, but I also know there are some reasons that we are thankful to be going. Thankful to be moving out of the moldy dorms. Thankful to be moving away from dining halls with food that we can barely eat. And sometimes it sounds like a construction zone. You knock it with a knife and nothing happens. Thankful to be moving away from the long, hot walks as it gets closer to summer, where maybe we met our best friends, but maybe the sweat was too much some days. And I'm sure we're most thankful for the ability to meet in public spaces without worry of the police coming to tell us to shut down our events. As we leave, we're boxing up items from our past and experiences, a corset from Vampire Coup, a mug from an old job, a photo from photo booth, maybe first year, and for me, quite possibly, too much tea. So a question remains: what can we bring with us into this next chapter of our lives? Besides all the boxes of clothes from Goodwill, maybe classes where we had to print too many papers and all of the folders that came with that, and all of our great friendships and memories. What comes with us? Transferable skills. So we may stay close, we may live at home or move abroad, we may graduate, go to grad school, med school, care for family, volunteer, travel, but I found a few things that I think we're all going to bring with us when we leave. And I know we've heard a lot recently about the great benefits of going to a liberal arts college. We've heard about how it benefits employers, donors, and society, but it rarely talks about us as individuals. So I know our experiences here at New College in particular are going to shape the way we move forward and shape how we support our lives and our careers. So I'm giving 4 skills that hopefully will help you all. And you're welcome to take notes, put it on a cover letter. I know the job market's a little rough. So the first is research. Between ISPs, building a thesis, and mentally preparing for the next Socratic stage, students have developed great research skills, such as when Russell Brand was planning on coming to campus. New College students asked the right questions, conducted background research, read available records, interpreted their findings, and communicated those concerns and findings to a diverse audience. I think that is a skill that wherever you go, it shows critical thinking, it shows the ability to synthesize information, and I think that will bring you a lot of success in your lives. So congratulations for that. Next, written communication. Through participating in the forum, I've calculated that New College students have an above average reading and typing speed, which was made most apparent in this email thread. Before I begin, I want to mention that I did change some of the wording to be more inclusive of families. To the sick person, doing it in the banyan tree. It is written by someone in this audience. On May 13th, 2023, with over 100 replies in several hours. This shows a great level of responsiveness, dedication, and creativity that any grad school or any employer would be happy to have. Third is adaptability. We have been through a lot of change in the past few years. While navigating the fast-paced world of education, we've struggled with changes to policy, politics of Florida, the United States, and we've had to adapt to this world around us. There have been changes to housing, student conduct, changes to the student body, the staff, and faculty, as well as switching food providers from Metz to Aramark. So I'm very proud of you all for your resilience in working through these. Over the past few years, you have reassessed educational plans, financial aid, research, and I understand how difficult that is to work through, and I'm really proud of you all for where we are now. We have overcome challenges and made it to this moment, showing our resilience as individuals and as a community. Congratulations. And last, self-motivation. I know this was sort of a bit of a joke when we got here. New College is a very student-led community. Not only was it student-led in the years prior to 2023, however, once there was the takeover of the Board of Trustees, we have had to work above and beyond in order to advocate for ourselves, our needs, and that of our communities. Through starting new clubs, holding multiple campus jobs, organizing and attending protests, and developing community initiatives. Our time here speaks to our strengths and care for this community and our motivation to make it a better place. We will take all of these skills with us, and so many more, and all of our memories as well. And as we go on into the world, we will be told that we're too young. We will be told that we may not have enough lived experience to understand certain ways of the world. However, they don't understand New College, and they don't know you individually and what you have been through in the past few years. New College has given us all of us, a much more complex understanding of our state, our country, and the world than we would receive at most universities. And don't let their ignorance silence you. And don't let their doubts silence your curiosity. As I reflect on my time at New College, I have several hopes moving forward. I hope that we recenter students in conversations on higher education, ensuring that their voices, needs, and lived experiences shape institutional practices, rather than politics or PR. I hope that as we move on to the next part of our lives, we recognize the strength shown in getting to this moment, our resilience and our courage. I hope that we continue using our resilience and our courage to speak against injustices and to work as advocates in support of systems that support equity, dignity, and opportunity for all people. Also, I hope that we have a moment to rest after graduation. We've worked really hard to get to this moment. We have put in so much time in our thesis, all of our coursework. Maybe you have 2 or 3 clubs that you run. But take a moment to rest and really appreciate the work that you've put in. And then begin building routines of community and self-care wherever you land. And I hope most of all, we celebrate because we've earned it. Congratulations to the class of 2025. Thank you.
Are you next? Okay, 1 second, guys. It got out of order. Please bear with us. Yeah. I'll set that to the side. Okay, guys, now we're back on track. Thank you for being patient. Thank you, Olivia, for your words. I would now like to take the time to introduce someone who probably does not need an introduction at all. Since his transfer to New College in 2020, he has been one of the most recognizable and impactful people on campus. From fighting for student voices, protesting, and involvement in student government, to organizing pool parties and water assassin and activity in almost every single club on campus, Safari has always kept the student body at the forefront of his actions and his thoughts. He has emerged as a leader and a friend, and is an invaluable part of New College. Safari is a computer science major, and his thesis is a tool designed to support the surfing community in New Jersey by tracking and sharing wave data. His orientation towards togetherness, then, is apparent in almost everything he does. Please welcome Safari Svensson.
How's everyone doing? Can you guys hear me back there? A lot of people say I have a very quiet voice, so you'll have to bear with me in the back of the audience. Before I get started, I just want to say a couple thank yous. Thank you to all my friends back home in New Jersey and New York, my siblings, my cousins, my teachers, my mentors, and everyone at New College for the unrelenting love and support all these years. Thank you for the alums and especially the graduating students who gave so many countless hours to plan, set up, and make this event a possibility for us. And an extra special thank you to my auntie, Kate Muldowney. Without her endless kindness and generosity, I would have never made it to graduation, let alone gotten into college in the first place. 4 years ago, before I ever got to take a class here at New College, pulled an all-nighter to study for a comp sci midterm, attended a center of the universe party, or let my friends convince me to climb way too high up into the banyan tree, I was working 60-hour weeks in a dingy Brooklyn kitchen, barely scraping by under the poverty line. A series of tragic health issues cost me my job and soon after my apartment. And there I was at 19 years old. I had no home, no money, and seemingly no future. I found myself living unhoused, jumping between friends' couches, and even sleeping in a tent in the woods. All the while battling Lyme's disease, mono, and kidney stones at the same time. Trifecta I would not recommend anyone trying in the audience. Like so many people, I didn't have it the easiest growing up. I faced a lot of financial hardship, and like many, I had to start working full-time when I turned 15 just to help scrape by and pay for things like food and groceries. And honestly, most of my youth really felt like an uphill battle. So let's just say college wasn't really on the table for me or in my mind. In fact, the idea of attending university at all felt like a dream that people of my background just would never even have the opportunity to pursue. Yet standing here today on this stage, I almost have to pinch myself that what used to be such a distant dream has now become my reality. And while my personal struggles may seem a little tough to some, I can assure you that my story is anything but unique. Getting to know all the wonderful people in my class these past 3 years, I've learned at least one thing, that every single person graduating today in this crowd has their own story. Of pain, of loss, of setbacks and defeats, but even more so, a story of perseverance and success. Now, as you can probably tell by my outfit tonight, I'm not the most traditional guy. Maybe there was just something in that New Jersey water when I was born. Who knows? But since as long as I can remember, I've been labeled. Labeled different, eccentric, weird, and a lot worse words I'm probably not allowed to say on this stage tonight. You know, throughout my childhood and to this very day, my peers have loved to make my differences very known to me. When I was young, this kind of thing actually really hurt me. Between the bullying, the teasing, and alienation, people seem to find 1,000,001 ways to make me feel bad and lesser because of my differences. And my childhood self wanted nothing more in this world than to try to fit in this normal box that everyone else wanted me to fit into. And I know that so many of my friends and fellow graduates in the audience know this feeling all too well. Whether you're neurodivergent, queer, you like wearing a little bit too much color, whatever the standard or norm you defy is, people will always try to put you down and make you feel ashamed of your differences. And you know, it took me years and years and years to figure out exactly what it was that made these people so uncomfortable and upset with my differences. The conclusion I came to was shockingly simple. Those people were scared. Scared of anyone who doesn't fit their mold because it challenges their fragile sense of comfort. Scared of anyone who dares to question tradition and popular beliefs in case it might make them question their own. Scared of people willing to try and walk a different path in life in fear that it might be better than the one they are on. But while those people live in fear and insecurity, your divergence, your difference, every little single thing that makes you unique has helped you become quite the opposite of those people. Because every day that you deny the status quo and what others seek to make you, you become that much stronger, that much more fearless, and that much more resilient. Because let me tell you, no great leader was ever made, no world-changing innovation discovered, no grand achievement ever met by staying in your lane, trying to fit in, and being like everybody else. And you know the class? And you know, the class of 2025 hasn't just had to meet the challenges of a prestigious and rigorous honors degree program, but simultaneously hurdle a consistent plight of new challenges since the sweeping changes made 3 years ago. People have tried to get rid of your major, make you feel uncomfortable, make you feel unsafe, to do anything to stop you from walking across this stage tonight. And struggle is quite an understatement, isn't it? For so many, the past few years have been painful, depressing, demoralizing, and maybe even hopeless. But against all odds, you did it. You have defied all expectations, accomplished what so many have tried to bar you from. You didn't just survive, but you thrived. And no other degree program in this country can provide the unique and powerful kind of resilience this has all earned you. So if I leave this college with one plea, one more single request to my fellow graduates, it's this. When the next person comes to tell you no, to demean you, and to get in your way, remember everything you conquered to get to this moment today. They told us to be silent, and we got louder. They told us to stay in line, and we got bolder. They told us to shrink back down, and we just stood up taller. Because the class of 2025 didn't bend under pressure. No, we became unbreakable.
Thank you so much, Safari. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce someone whose dedication to this community spans decades and whose commitment helped make today possible. Colin Boyle is a 1995 graduate of New College with a degree in American history. He's a founding member of the Novo Collegian Alliance, a past board member of the New College Alumni Association, and a true champion of nonprofit work, recognized with the 2025 Lifetime Achievement Award by the Nonprofit Technology Network. Colin has also been a vital force on the committee that brought this ceremony to life. If you're enjoying today, you should know that behind the scenes, Colin was thinking through every possible obstacle. As he puts it himself, he's the worst case scenario guy, and he made sure the worst case didn't come true. Please join me in welcoming someone who made this moment a reality, Colin Boyle.
Threescore and 1 years ago, the charter class brought forth to this sleepy town a new college, conceived in academic liberty and dedicated to the principle that in the final analysis, each student is responsible for their own education. We are engaged in a great struggle to determine whether that school or any school so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. But I'm not here to talk about that war. Tonight is about celebrating the graduates and welcoming them to the alum community. More than anything, I just wanted if Professor Donachie, if he's watching at home, to know that I got my money's worth out of his American Intellectual History class, especially the lectures on Lincoln. I'm Colin Boyle. I'm one of the board members of Novo Collegian Alliance, your host for tonight. So who is the Novo Collegian Alliance and what do we do? Novo Collegian Alliance is a 501c3 nonprofit formed out of the events of 2023. We're dedicated to preserving the ideals of the old New College and to provide support for students, faculty, and alumni. We are, for all intents and purposes, an alumni association independent from the school and independent from the foundation. One of the primary lessons we learned in the events of 2023 is that alumni don't have any power if we don't control our own money. And we don't need an intermediary to fund the things that we want to fund. We can write our own checks. Since our incorporation in March of 2023, we've hosted 3 of these alternative graduations. And for those of you who don't know, presenting at a conference for an undergraduate can be really career-changing. And we've sent a couple dozen students to academic conferences, most of them as presenters. We've helped fund student food banks, we paid student legal aid, and we've funded dozens of student events, not just the big ones like these. Like any student event you've been to where there were decorations or food, chances are it came from us. We've taken care of events that were maybe something that the current administration wasn't really interested in, like, pride events, and the really controversial ones like chess club. So I wouldn't be doing my job as treasurer. I drew the short straw and got treasurer. If I didn't mention that all of these things cost money, and we don't have an endowment, so we don't have any passive income. Anything that we do has to come from donations. Now, these folks in the first couple rows, they don't have jobs yet. But for the rest of you, I'm just saying that you would make one particular treasurer sleep a lot better if you were to make a donation at novocollegian.org. For the grads out there, I want to welcome you to the alum community. For the rest of your days, you're going to find yourself bumping into strangers with Four Winds t-shirts. You'll see a car with a null set sticker, and you'll know that those are your people. You'll travel to strange towns and automatically have a couch to sleep on, and I promise you, those people will be interested to hear about your thesis topic. 30 years ago, I was sitting at my own New College graduation, and I was really unsure about where I was headed next. I was definitely going to take a gap year. I'm currently on my 30th gap year. And my degree was in history, and I was having that conversation with myself. Am I a good historian? Yes, I am a good historian. Am I the top 1% of historians? No, I'm not. And you know that voice in the back of your head that says, a humanities degree? What are you going to do with that? How are you going to eat that? And I'm sure that some of you have those same questions running through your head right now. I just wanted to be, I just want to assure you that you guys know how to write, you guys know how to do research, and you know how to do things that you've never done before. I'm a senior IT director, and I use those writing and research skills every day. If you are an employer out there, hiring manager to hiring manager, I'm just telling you that if you want employees that you can give vague instructions to and then walk away and just assume that the job is going to get done, they are sitting in these rows right here. You know, when I graduated, there was no such thing as a webmaster. There was no such thing as social media. And you, my friends, are experts at creating things that don't exist. I said community earlier, and I chose that word really carefully. There's been a lot of talk in the halls of power lately about placing a value on college degrees based on earnings, especially the first year out of college. For those of us focused on community, it's a really weirdly transactional way of looking at the world. At this point, all my years on the Alumni Association, NCA, being a student, I know hundreds and hundreds of alums at this point. And what I see are social workers, teachers, librarians, urban planners, nurse practitioners, nonprofit professionals, public defenders, foreign service officers, and all those careers are centered around making their communities better and making America a better place to live. As best I can tell, all of them are paying their mortgage. None of them are ever going to buy a private island in the Bahamas. But I can guarantee you that if those people were gone, you would notice them missing. I was in my third year and my history professor, Laszlo Demi, took me aside and he told me not to rule out a career in public service. And this is the point in the evening where the venerable alum would be expected to similarly ask new grads to consider public service. And I'm not going to do that because, like I said, I know my people. I'm just here to say that you shouldn't be surprised when it happens to you. I can't guarantee that public service is where you end up, but a whole lot of you will end up doing it for your day job. Others of you are going to spend your nights and weekends volunteering and serving on boards. A crazy few of us have a day job in public service and spend our nights working on community service. Last but not least, speaking of public service, I just want to take a moment to thank the people that made tonight happen. Susan Montgomery, Shane Bishop, and they're the ones that checked everybody in. Carmela French helped wrangle the press. Amanda has been our hardworking minister without portfolio. Kimbu has made order out of all the chaos. Miranda spent hours working with the students on messaging and press releases, and she and Bruce helped do press training. And Ari Weinstein set a world land speed record today, getting our speaker here. We could not have gotten tonight's speaker without generous assistance from Bard College and the Open Society University Network. And lastly, all of this event and all the other work we do would not be possible without financial support from folks like yourselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for those words, Colin, for all your help getting here and getting this organized. Now, I will be introducing Dr. Amy Reed, Professor of French Language and Literature and the Director of the Gender Studies program. She is currently serving as the Senior Manager for PEN America's Freedom to Learn program, which aims to educate and provide historical context for the current assault on public education. Before that, in the 2023 to 2024 year, she served as chair of the faculty and as a faculty representative on the New College Board of Trustees, working to safeguard the principles of academic freedom in the Florida State University system. But even as she was on leave this last year working with PEN America, she still made the effort to reach out and to check in on the remaining gender studies students and to show up for student events, and she even showed up to my back with only a day's notice. So I'm very happy to have her here and to be welcoming her on stage to introduce the Margaret Bates Awards.
I've been on the road so much lately, maybe not coming as fast as some people to get here, but it feels so good to be with you all today. Thank you. Colin, these are my people too. So it was just about 30 years ago now, in April of 1995, that I first came to Sarasota for a job interview. And I was then offered a job and accepted what really was my dream job at New College of Florida. So I hope you'll forgive me if I'm a little bit nostalgic tonight. For 30 years, I had the honor of working with amazing colleagues, some of them here today, too many unfortunately not, and with students who challenged and impressed me, sometimes driving me to distraction, but most often pushing me to grow and learn with them. I was lucky to land this job, and I'm grateful to have some of your time now. I arrived at New College the year the Gender Studies program was founded, thanks to the work of dedicated colleagues, including Sandra Gilchrist, Milena Carrasco, Chris Hasselt, Andrea Domino, Erin Edidin, Suzanne Sherman, Maria Vesperi. And over the next 30 years, I was able to build the program in collaboration with other colleagues, including Sarah Hernandez, Miriam Wallace, Emily Fairchild, Shashi, Chris Fenney, and the inimitable Nick Clarkson, who was the one and only tenure-track faculty member our program ever hired. I'm afraid I don't have time to name all of the faculty who contributed to the Gender Studies program over the years, but to all of you here who taught a class or tutorial, sponsored a thesis, or sat on a back in Gender Studies, thank you. Honor and respect to each one of you. I am still dumbfounded by the bigoted ignorance that led to the official abolishing of the Gender Studies program 2 years ago. And I am really thrilled that tonight we can take a moment to recognize that despite what small-mended mind decreed, Gender Studies is alive and well here in Sarasota. You graduates are the reason for our celebration today, but I want to take a moment to recognize that this grand experiment, New College, and frankly, the American tradition of the liberal arts, is a marvelous thing. Its premise that students learn well and often learn best when they are both challenged by high standards and given the freedom and respect to be independent learners. Well, that's something I believe in deeply. I'm very proud to have taught and learned with you all here at what has been Florida's public liberal arts honors college. And I'm happy to celebrate your achievements and those of the generations of Novos who graduated before you and who helped make tonight's celebration happen. Colin? And while I'm painfully aware that we are here and not there on our Bayfront campus tonight, it really is wonderful to be in such good company. In my new position at PEN America, where I count 2 recent Novos as among my colleagues, my work focuses on academic freedom, which is predicated on the ability of faculty to teach honestly and with integrity, meeting the ethical and qualitative standards of their disciplines. But the reason why academic freedom matters is because it ensures that you students, each of you, has access to a broad and deep education free from government censorship. Academic freedom is about ensuring that students are able to learn what they need to learn to ask the questions and seek their best answers, guided and supported by faculty who respect their autonomy and share their passion for learning. It is, according to the United Nations, a societal right, a communal good, and we all know that it is a central support to our democracy. So please, I want you to realize that this celebration tonight marks a milepost and not your finish line. Now is where your real education begins, where you can really take the reins, because over the past years, you have learned how to learn in community and independently. And hopefully you've found not just the one thing that you're passionate about, although everyone's thesis, but you've learned how best it is that you learn. So I want you to keep learning wildly, fiercely. I want you to keep asking questions relentlessly, and don't ever back down in your pursuit of truth, because truly our future and our democracy depends on you. So now, getting to why I'm here. So I first want to recognize that this year we have 4, count them 4, that's always been my lucky number, 4 students graduating with a full or joint area of concentration in gender studies. Now, each of these students completed the requirements for a gender studies concentration, including introductory and advanced theory classes, multiple electives, and a thesis, and for those with full AOCs, also an internship. And they did so under challenging circumstances, as you all know, and I want to honor their grit, determination, and integrity. So I'm going to ask each of the students to stand. Not all of them are here tonight, and then we can clap at the end. So students with areas of concentration in gender studies include Auguste Bartel, Sarah Engels, T. Jones, and Isabel Hayes. And I'm going to ask that each of you and the students I'm going to announce in just a moment who are receiving our Bates Awards, come and find me afterwards because we have your presents over there. So, second, I have the honor of recognizing a set of students for their achievements in undergraduate research in gender studies. Named in honor of one of New College's early leaders, Dr. Margaret L. Bates, who some of us remember quite well. This award is given annually to students nominated by their baccalaureate committees for the quality of their research. This year's winners worked in fields including Chinese and East Asian studies, psychology, social sciences, philosophy, theater, dance, and performance studies, classics, international studies, music, French, and gender studies. And it's an honor to recognize them, and again, in such good company. So again, I'm going to call your names. Please stand up, and then we can cheer at the end. In alphabetical order: Abigail Alcock, Emily Ash, Auguste Bartel, Sarah Engels, Denicia Finney, Nisreen Kalai, Sarah Malikson, Isabel Reyes, and Caroline Young. Thank you. Congratulations. And thank you all.
We would now, oops, wait, guys. There's some work we gotta do here. Okay, thank you. We would now like to say a few words to honor our retiring faculty. In the words of Dr. Maribeth Clark, Melina Carrasco began teaching at New College of the University of South Florida in 1977, 2 years after the first takeover as an instructor of art history with a dissertation still underway. With its completion, she became assistant professor of art history in 1980, receiving tenure in 1986, a member of a generation of new college professors who never knew whether the payroll would be met, but who kept the college going for love of the students and the mission, which recognized the importance of student autonomy, the centrality of undergraduate research, and the value of a system that allowed for failure and flexibility in the pursuit of knowledge. She herself is an expert on saints' lives and illuminated French manuscripts from the medieval period, with numerous publications on hagiography, I don't know if I said that right, as well as important contributions to the understanding of the lives of medieval women, teaching a broad range of courses that conveyed an understanding of culture and society, while also introducing students to detail-oriented observation of art and clarity of written expression. Milena has also contributed to the stability of the college as an administrator, serving as chair of the Division of Humanities from 1993 to 1996, and then associate dean and warden from 1999 to 2001, during yet another time of administrative change at New College. Milena has been a voice of moral authority for many faculty and students since the most recent takeover at New College. She can be counted on for her wit, her kindness to students, her support of her colleagues, her important contributions to the community as a standard bearer of what New College can be at its best. Although she retires, she remains an important part of the New College community, someone who has contributed to its excellence and its survival over her career. And personally, as being someone who has experienced working with her, I cannot say how grateful I am for all of the effort and dedication she has shown to students, and particularly how much she helped me in trying times.
I'll be talking about the other retiring professor. These are Sandra Gilchrist's words about Professor Irini Pimenidou. Irini Pimenidou came to New College in 1993 from Bryn Mawr while the Natural Science Division was still part of the old Hanson and Selby buildings. Immediately, she had a strong impact on the college, joining the math seminar in its early days. In 1997, she brought a major mathematics event to the college, the Zassenhaus Group Theory Conference, I hope I pronounced that right, while the college was still part of USF. The conference returned to the New College of Florida after the split with USF in 2001. She has been a strong advocate for bringing different voices to mathematics with her EDGE, Enhancing Diversity in Graduate Education program. Locally, she began an outward-facing scholarship with Sonia Kovaletsky Math Day, focused on bringing young women into the mathematics world, which continued for 4 years. She developed and directed the free community math clinic for 11 years. This clinic, which had New College math students tutoring a range of people from young to old across a variety of groups, was highly successful, humanizing mathematics, as one client puts it. Irini has been the recipient of multiple grants, including the NSF and the Mellon Foundation, from the NSF and Mellon Foundation, to further her innovative teaching techniques and to support mathematics education for underrepresented groups. These grants put New College on the forefront of research education for undergraduates nationally. Her students have talked about the profound influence that her professionalism and her compassion have had on their lives. She sponsored more than 20 theses students, helping to achieve their career goals with patience and perseverance. During her retirement party with the Natural Sciences, Dr. Tyrone Ryba, now a faculty member, noted that her teaching methods and passion about mathematics were very important when he was a student in her calculus class. Her colleagues noted her strong influence on the math program over the years. Irini has been the glue to the division to keep the community intact. As emerita, we welcome the next phase of her work at the college. Thank you.
I believe she is in the crowd tonight, and we welcome her to the stage to say a few words.
Good evening. Thank you so much for the kind words. I was asked last night, actually, if I wanted to share a few words with you as I reflect on my 32 years here. So here I go. Graduates, today marks both an end and a beginning. For you, stepping into the world beyond New College, and for me, concluding my career as a professor of mathematics and adjusting to being professor emerita. It is a bittersweet moment, but one filled with gratitude, reflection, and hope. You have spent years expanding your minds, challenging your limits, learning how to think, and shaping your futures. I have seen hundreds of students go through New College and out in the world. And I know from their emails and letters and phone calls how valuable their New College experience was in making their lives and careers rich and rewarding. For example, last year, and this is a direct quote, I received an email from a former New College math student who is now doing a 3-year postdoc at Princeton. I have a lot to owe you and New College in general. I really do think I was very lucky to have learned math there and build my foundations, including in research experience. Things could be much different for me right now if it weren't for the exceptional guidance from you and the rest of the department. You can imagine how I felt when I got that. So I want you to know, graduates, how confident I feel that as time goes on, you too will feel an immense appreciation for your education at New College. You have been primed here to never stop learning. Great things are in store for you. Now you stand at the threshold of possibility. The world awaits your ideas, your passions, your leadership. For me, this moment is also one of transition. After 32 years at New College, guiding, mentoring, and witnessing the remarkable growth of students like you, I step into my own new chapter. I was the first woman ever to earn tenure in mathematics, and still am. I New College, and I was subsequently promoted to full professor, still first. I sincerely hope I'm not the last. As I reflect on my time here, I recall some of the cool projects that I initiated and participated in. And, well, thanks to Professor Gilchrist, she mentioned some of them, like the math clinic, which was our free math tutoring we did at the public library on Sundays. We did it for 10, 11 years. It was great. I did the abstract algebra retreats. This was a weekend retreat with my abstract algebra class. We went for a whole weekend away in a remote location, and we just, it was actually a remote island, Seahorse Island. It was a UF lab. In any case, it was a mini conference. Students were prepared to come and give talks and talk about topics in abstract algebra. And so that is one of my fond memories. We did several of those. And then there were the high school math days where we invited Sonia Kovalevsky, the first woman to earn a PhD in mathematics. So we invited local teachers and female students. We had workshops and we had national speakers to encourage them and to inspire them to study mathematics. Then the EDGE program. The EDGE is an acronym for Enhancing Diversity in Graduate Education. a program that was conceived by two great leaders, Rhonda Hughes from Bryn Mawr and Sylvia Bozeman from Spelman College. And it's a transition program for women going into math programs in graduate school. So for many years, they've seen their students, top students, they go into grad school and they just drop out. So this is what the EDGE program does, is a bridge program. And to this day, we've had over 100 PhDs that went through the program. So it's a great network of women. And I've organized, it's a summer program, it's a month-long summer program, but that keeps, creates the network. And we did it twice here at New College, and I taught for the program in abstract algebra in several places, good places, Pomona, Purdue, Bryn Mawr, and lots of other places. So then there was the Zassenhaus Group Theory Conference I did twice here in my early years. There was another program that, the Pascalua program, which was an NSF-funded project that I did in collaboration with Salisbury University. And it was a research program here. It's like an REU, research experience for undergraduate. It was a week long. We did it for 2 years, and we had students from around the country. And the project resulted in a few publications. And our paper, a visualization approach to undergraduate research, I just checked. It has 1,700 downloads. So people are reading it around the world. So proud of that project. So that's some of the cool projects I was involved in. And I would now like to take the time to close by thanking my students, past and present, for inspiring me, challenging me, and for being part of my story. Thanks also to all my amazing colleagues at New College. I have special thanks for Sandra Gilchrist, George Rupiner, and Suzanne Sherman, who welcomed me here 32 years ago and who continue to teach here at New College. I also want to special thanks for my colleagues in math, Pat McDonald, Nesmit and Yildirim, Chris Kotke, and Vlad Serban. Thank you for inspiring me and supporting me. I'm glad I played a part in hiring all of you. On a sad note, Chris Kotke is leaving us for Reed College. We wish him well. We will miss him terribly. The New College was very lucky to have Chris here. I'm certain that you will continue our tradition of excellence in mathematics. We hired 2 new colleagues starting in the fall. Though I may leave New College, I carry its spirit with me, its lessons, the memories, and the incredible people I've been fortunate enough to know. So, let us all, in our respective journeys, continue forward with courage and purpose. Graduates, may you lead with wisdom, serve with compassion, and never lose sight of your dreams that brought you here. Thank you very much. Congratulations, class of 2025. Go get them.
Okay. I think this is telling for a new college student, but I am extremely excited for our next and final speaker because, of course, I have a favorite academic. Our next speech will come from our keynote speaker, Viet Thanh Nguyen. I would like to start out his introduction by emphasizing how fitting this moment is for our student body. In discussing new commencement with my peers, many lit up with excitement at the prospect of hearing Dr. Nguyen speak. As a graduate of UC Berkeley, he has spent his career writing on the Vietnamese and Greater Asian diaspora in America through fiction and nonfiction. His most recent book, released this year, is titled To Save and to Destroy, Writing as an Other. In all of his work, he explores the themes of hyphenated identity, isolation, and war, but also joy, community, and the complicated sense of home. Although his work is specific to the experience of Asian Americans, he teaches lessons that anyone who has been displaced can relate to and feel seen by. For his renowned novel, The Sympathizer, he has won the Dayton Literary Peace Prize, the Carnegie Medal for Excellence in Fiction, the Pulitzer Prize, and many more. However, it is not just for this list of credentials that makes Dr. Nguyen so special. It is his commitment, despite looking at the past, to continue moving forward. Please welcome Dr. Viet Thanh Nguyen.
Am I supposed to stand on this? Sorry about that little misstep, literally. Thank you so much for that introduction. That was fabulous. Good evening, New College. Such a pleasure and an honor to be here with you today on this very special day of gratitude and hope and relief. Congratulations, graduates, on your wonderful accomplishment. Congratulations, parents, on the even more wonderful accomplishment of raising young adults like these. This is a happy day, but honestly, one that always leaves me with mixed emotions. For as I look out upon all these optimistic, youthful, unlined faces ready to embark on their life's journey, I'm reminded, once again, that I am more than halfway to death. I think I'm here today partly because I wrote a novel called The Sympathizer, which HBO turned into a TV series last year. Which means that if you haven't read The Sympathizer yet, you never have to read The Sympathizer. You can just watch it on TV. That won't hurt me because I'm a writer and I live in Los Angeles. When I tell people in LA that I'm a writer, no one cares. I'm used to it. I was an English major and an ethnic studies major. People would always ask, what are you going to do with an English major or an ethnic studies major? None of the answers I gave likely satisfied anybody. Reading, writing, teaching, the acts of the humanities might have all seemed rather modest to people only interested in making money. Yet the humanities have always mattered, now more than ever for many reasons. But the one I'm focusing on tonight is about finding your voice. This is what a lifetime in the humanities has taught me. But no matter what career you envision for yourself, you'll need to find your voice. My journey to finding my voice and becoming a writer started when my family arrived in the United States in 1975 as refugees, fleeing the end of the war in Vietnam. Being a refugee was quite traumatic, but it wasn't all bad. Being a refugee left me with the requisite emotional damage necessary to become a writer. Being a refugee also leaves me with an opinion that not everyone in this country agrees with, which is that I think refugees and immigrants make America great. Speaking of greatness, my older brother was 10 years old when he came here, speaking no English. 7 years later, he graduated as valedictorian of his high school and went to Harvard. Then, just to make my life harder, he went to Stanford Medical School, which is what you're supposed to do when you're Asian. I'm very proud of my brother, but I don't think our refugee and immigrant policy should be based on whether refugees or immigrants can become doctors, lawyers, engineers, or even writers. You shouldn't have to be exceptional to be let into this country. I, for one, believe in a United States that is equal for all, where refugees and immigrants have the right to be mediocre just like every other American. Society, and maybe your parents, tells you that you should not be mediocre. I'm here to give you permission to fail. Your parents might not want to hear that, but you should listen to Samuel Beckett. Ever tried, he wrote. Ever failed? No matter. Try again. Fail again. Fail better. I failed a lot as I tried to find my voice, and I'll give you just one example. My first creative writing workshop at the University of California at Berkeley with the writer Maxine Hong Kingston. Every day, I would enter her seminar of 14 students, sit a few feet away from her, a writer whose book, The Woman Warrior, was reputed to be the most widely taught book on college campuses, and every day, I would fall asleep. Professor Kingston gave me a B+, which may not seem that bad, except that a B+ is an Asian F. No one thought I had the talent to be a writer, but I never gave up. Over the next 20 years, I failed again and again and again. If you're one of those people who's never failed at anything, who's never fallen asleep in class, who's always been good at what you do, I hate you. We all do. For the rest of us who have failed, the lesson is persistence is more important than talent. Over 20 years, I persisted. I spent about 10,000 hours alone in a room trying to be a writer. If you spend 10,000 hours doing anything, you'll be good at it. Maybe not great, but good. The challenge is finding something you care enough about to spend 10,000 hours doing it. Try to find that one thing that inspires that much passion in you. Expect failure along the way. Forgive yourself for failing, realizing that failing can be learning. Each time I failed, I was one step closer to finding my voice. That was important to me because I grew up when the United States was fighting its war in Vietnam all over again, this time on screen. I watched almost all of Hollywood's Vietnam War movies, an exercise I recommend to no one, especially if you're Vietnamese. Our only place in American movies was to be killed, raped, threatened, or rescued. Like many other so-called minorities, we were distorted by stereotypes or erased by ignorance. The solution for many of our parents was to make their children doctors, lawyers, engineers, just not writers, or artists, or actors, or musicians, or dancers. But as Maxine Hong Kingston has written, we need more than necessity. We also need extravagance. We need beauty. We need the humanities. We need the liberal arts. We need our artists and creators and storytellers too. As I tried to become a storyteller and find my voice, I worried about whether I was pleasing people, including editors, reviewers, readers, and not least of all, my parents. As a result, my voice was somewhat muted out of fear. With The Sympathizer, a novel about the war in Vietnam, where the Vietnamese are at the center of our own story, I was done worrying about what others thought about me. I wrote that novel first and foremost for me. And by not caring about what other people thought, I found my authentic voice. But I ran into a problem. The first major review of the novel said that Viet is a voice for the voiceless. And I thought, no. Have you ever met any Vietnamese people? Eaten at a Vietnamese restaurant? Been inside a Vietnamese home? We're really, really loud. As Arundhati Roy puts it, there's really no such thing as the voiceless. There are only the deliberately silenced or the preferably unheard. What I want for each of you graduates is to reach that moment of absolute authenticity when you discover your voice. Perhaps you have a sense of your voice and your truth now. I suggest that you write yourself a letter, telling yourself what you believe in and what you want to be. Not just what kind of job you want to have, but what kind of person and human being you envision yourself becoming. Put that letter away. Come back to it in 30 years when you will be more than halfway to death. And see whether you've become who you wanted to be or whether you betrayed yourself. I have tried not to betray my younger self. The 21-year-old who graduated from UC Berkeley with 2 majors, 3 degrees, and 4 misdemeanors. 2 counts of resisting arrest, 2 counts of trespassing. In those days of the early 90s, my cohort were political activists. I felt a little embarrassed about my political activity, however, because looking back to the 1960s, the Berkeley activists were protesting the Vietnam War. In the 1980s, the Berkeley activists were protesting apartheid. In the early 1990s, we were asking for greater curricular and faculty diversity. Not quite the same ring. And yet, now we realize that the culture wars of the early 1990s foreshadow the culture wars of today. And if we were fighting for diversity back then, diversity has now become part of that unholy trinity: diversity, equity, and inclusion. The so-called culture wars are real wars, and they are tied to the actual and imagined wars that our country is fighting or supporting today. When I think back to my younger self, I think I would have spoken out on some of the most important issues of my time back then, which has led me to try to speak out on some of the most important issues of our time today. This is why I often advocate for refugees and immigrants, including writing for Time magazine a few weeks ago, disagreeing strongly with our government renditioning immigrants without due process to a brutal prison in El Salvador. That is wrong. Trying to be true to my younger self is also why I signed a letter demanding a ceasefire, along with 750 other writers and artists, in October 2023, and why I have been vocal in support of students who are being arrested, imprisoned, and threatened with deportation simply for using their free speech to say that they believe Israel is committing a genocide in Gaza. Those students include Mahmoud Khalil, still in prison in Louisiana. They include Logan Rozos, who used his NYU graduation speech to speak out against genocide. NYU is threatening to pull back his diploma. These students and many others inspire me and humble me with their courage during this time when our universities and colleges have once again become a part of the culture wars. The hollowness of too many of our academic institutions is more and more evident during a time when it is ever more urgent to break silence and to speak our conscience. What gives me hope are the students, including the student I once was and the students you are now. I would never want to be your age again. But what I have tried to remember from that time was the idealism, the conviction, the possibility of doing the impossible, the fearlessness. This memory of my 21-year-old self helped my middle-aged self to find his voice. I hope that when you find your own voice, that you do not try to be a voice for the voiceless. Instead, your challenge and mine is to listen for unheard voices, to abolish the conditions of voicelessness, and to break our silence. This is how we change our individual stories as well as the collective story of this country, expanding it so that our country's story excludes no one and includes everyone. Lastly, parents, I haven't forgotten about you. Don't discourage your children from finding their voices, even if they're different than yours. Let them be extravagant. And for those parents with artistically inclined children, I have a special appeal. Encourage your artists and actors and dancers and singers, for they bring beauty to the world, and there is nothing more necessary than beauty. Nurture your poets and writers and storytellers so that one day they will find their authentic voices and finally sit down to write scathing memoirs featuring you. Class of 2025, it's all over, and yet it's all just beginning. I hope we hear your voices in the future, and I hope we hear your voices now. Congratulations.
Wow, that was great. Yeah, thank you so much. Now we will be getting ready for students to walk across the stage as they transition from New College students to New College alumni. But first, I will be reading a mission statement from the NCSA, the New College Alumni Association, from 1988. Once admitted, a new college student is always a new college student. No person or group has the right to abridge, confiscate, or deny any new college student the responsibility for their own education. Responsibility, in this context, is a personal accountability, an ability to act without reference to a superior authority, a responsibility which can only be fulfilled in an environment of full academic freedom. Such an environment was established and is protected by the New College faculty in their commitment to give students access to themselves, full support and encouragement, no matter the degree of change or confrontation with the unknown which the student faces. And in response to the students' expressed goals, to offer suggestions, challenges, and opportunities for the students' personal and academic growth. Above all, New College faculty must be committed to restraint and that they never become an obstacle in the students' growth. New College must always be as creative as possible and as innovative as its faculty and students deem necessary. The New College administration must accept the challenge of creativity in maintaining an efficient effective, and truly helpful academic infrastructure, and in removing confining administrative conventions. New College's unique environment of intellectual and social self-determination must be defended from constraints imposed by the external environment and promoted internally as well as externally by the New College alumni. In addition to being resources of ideals, information, wisdom, vigilance, and funding, New College alumni must ensure that the New College Foundation contributes the kind of support needed for an environment of full academic freedom. Although one byproduct of such an environment is that New College's success as a national institution can easily be measured in traditional statistics of individual achievement. These statistics should never become goals by themselves. By definition of admittance, all New College students want to learn. Therefore, all New College students must be helped, never hindered. The mission of the New College Alumni Association is basically the same as that of all constituencies of New College, to provide such help to students in ways appropriate to the nature of that particular constituency. Thank you. So now I have the pleasure of introducing the two faculty members who will be reading the students' names as we walk across the stage. And so just so students know, we'll be lining up this way and exiting stage left, at least as I've been told. We have Dr. Sara Hernandez, Associate Professor of Sociology and Caribbean and Latin American Studies, who also serves as the faculty sponsor for POGU, People of Color Union, which I have loved being a part of these past couple of years. And we have Dr. Avni V.S., Assistant Professor of Creative Writing and a published poet, who I'm so sad I never got to take a class with, even though creative writing was originally part of my AOC before I took it out. But we are so grateful to have them here, and that New College students are able to have them as professors.
Rachel Ulvin.
Bernadette Estrada Brown.
Abigail Alcock.
Rachel Roeder.
Senna Williams.
So, Nicolas Joyner, all right?
Mark Creasy.
Okay, Nikita Mira Razdan.
Charlie Knowlton.
Is Demiris.
Aaron Flanagan.
Galen Anderson.
Benicia Finney.
Lainey Rose.
Emily Ash.
Ari Klimt.
Hannah Joy Barker. Annika Fuller.
So Dylan Niner.
Sierra Tubbs.
Pablo Sarmiento.
Brianna Corley.
So Jill Salveri.
Lydia Ubry.
Andy Trin.
Natalia Benavides.
Christopher Tillet.
Samantha Baker.
Carolyn Young.
Safari Svensson.
Bo Dillon.
Olivia Mickelson.
Nisreen Kalai.
Han Gwen.
So we have Gray Henry and Goose.
Sarah Jane Engels and Justice.
Matthew Senecal.
Noah Tyler.
Veronica Jolie.
Penelope Donetti.
pleasure.
Isabel Reyes.
So, Braden Stewart.
And receiving her Master's of Science in Applied Data Science, Rosemary Mejia. Another round of applause to honor our graduates.
Congratulations, everyone. Whether this is your only ceremony or the first of two, know that you have just begun the rest of your life. That every day you are beginning the rest of your life. And the decision to keep going every morning is not one to scoff at. I am extremely proud of all of us for making it out on the other side. Before we turn you to pictures and dancing for the night, I would like to say a few things, and I will keep this brief. The point of a ceremony like this is to honor the process of moving on, and to honor the process of getting to the point of moving on. This cohort is a mixed one. Not all of us are in the same grade. Without dwelling too much on the past, something changed in each of us which pushed us to leave before the time was proper. In talking to my fourth-year friends, I have heard the refrain that they are finally getting out and just excited to be done. Exhaustion is normal for college students, but what we are about to feel will be serious. And still, I have seen so many smiles today. At New Commencement, we hope to have given you, graduates, the care and attention you deserve in a place like this. I don't know how much time you've spent on the overpass recently, but I invite you to pay close attention the next time that you do. If there's one trait that new college students have always embodied, like the vines which shaded our walks to class, is the capacity to bounce back. They're growing again. To steal the ending sentiment from Dr. Nguyen's book, I want you all to know that the fight will always be possible no matter how long you step away. We will live. The sun is setting now, or will be soon, so please feel free to take pictures outside, but please come back because there will be a band called Dead End Collective playing, and I think you would all enjoy it, and also there's food and drinks. Thank you guys. Congratulations. Yeah, the room is over there.